What's up again, Wrestling Fix fans? And today we're going to be taking a look at the Hardy Boyz. So this Hardy Boyz set is part of the Ringside exclusive series, and it's really cool because it's not sold separately. You actually get both the Hardy Boyz in one box, which is really cool. So let's get the packaging out of the way really quickly. You got this slightly bigger than usual Elite box. It's actually not too much bigger than a normal Elite. If you take a look here, it's like about a thumb's width bigger. I really like the color on this and these little jewel patterns on there. They've actually used the Hardy Boyz logo instead of just writing it in there in some sort of standard text. The window's nice and big, so you get to see the Hardy Boyz and all the things that come with it. On the side of the packaging, we've got this really cool picture of the Hardys. We've got some nice fire behind them. We've got Jeff, we've got Matt, and this is actually when they were part of the Brood with Gangrel. And it's a shame because we've already had an Edge from the Brood days. We've got a Christian that's coming out soon based on his time with the Brood, and now we've got the Brood Hardy Boyz. But we've never had the most important member of the Brood, the actual leader of the Brood, Gangrel. So hopefully someday soon we'll be getting that. On the other side of the packaging, we've got the Hardy Boyz, Matt and Jeff Hardy written on there so we know who they are. On the back of the packaging, we've got another picture of the Hardy Boyz, you know, where they're from, their combined weight, and their finishing moves. We've got some career highlights down here, and a little bit of information. So it says here that the Hardy Boyz are 6-time World Tag Team Champions, they're Raw Tag Team Champions, and WCW Tag Team Champions. So let's take a quick read of what it says here. The high-risk, high-flying brothers from North Carolina were never the largest tag team, but the Hardy Boyz put their bodies on the line each and every time they stepped inside the ring. With unforgettable rivalries and unforgiven TLC matches against Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boyz, these daredevils created a legacy as extreme icons of the Attitude Era. So we've got some really nice artwork on the back here, a nice bit of information, but taking a look at the front of the packaging and the figures themselves, how cool are these? But let's have a look at the accessories real quick. These Hardy Boyz come with a few sets of hands, obviously the hands that are actually on the Hardys. It also comes with the Hardy Boyz signature sort of pose hands. I don't know what you want to call them, but it's that sort of thing that they've done, the sort of gun logo that they have. And obviously it comes with 2 sets of those, so both Matt and Jeff can have those. And both sets are identical, so it doesn't really matter if you get these mixed up, you can put them on either one. And of course this comes with not 1 but 2 World Tag Team Championship belts, probably my favourite Tag Team Championship belts to be honest with you. And we've taken a look at these in the past with other figures, but we'll take another quick look at them. The detail on these is really nice. You've got that nice shine, a nice little bit of red and blue on there, and it's really cool that these figures come with these belts because they are well known for being Tag Team Champions. But if we take a look at the figures themselves, we've got Jeff Hardy on the right here and Matt Hardy on the left. Now both figures are actually pretty much the same. If you take a look at Jeff Hardy's armbands, he's got the sort of signature holy ones, whereas Matt Hardy's are more solid black. Aside from that, there's not really any difference when it comes to these figures. Now you can't really see it because of the sort of hair that they've got on this Matt Hardy, but there is a little necklace in there. There's not much detail on the necklace, it's just a sort of silver bead necklace. But if you take a look at Jeff Hardy's, he has the black necklace with a silver cross on the end. Face scan wise, Matt Hardy's kind of hidden by his hair, but if you look really closely you can see it actually looks a lot like Matt Hardy underneath there, and he did have his hair all over his face back in the younger days, so I do like the way this figure looks. It is a shame it didn't come with another head where you could see his face a bit more clearly, but you know, we've had plenty of Matt Hardy figures, so it doesn't really matter. And taking a look at Jeff Hardy's face scan, I think it's an absolutely amazing face scan. Now, I'm not saying it's a better face scan than Matt Hardy's, I'm just saying that you can see this one a lot more clearly than Matt Hardy's, so I can judge it a little differently. But you got those cool sideburns on there, and if you look closely at the neck, he's got one of them old school sort of 90s, early 2000s sort of mesh necklace things they used to wear, which is actually painted on his neck, so you can't take that off. And his hair is nice and colourful. Before he used to paint his face, he used to put stuff all over his hair instead. So it's cool that they've captured that in this figure. And of course, both the brothers come with this little t-shirt that they're wearing here. Now, I'm a huge fan of the cloth material t-shirts, and I love the way these look. However, I think maybe I would have preferred it if these t-shirts were actually painted on their bodies. Because as cool as they are, they're actually quite baggy. And back in the day, the Hardy Boyz t-shirts were actually skin tight and kind of tucked into their trousers. If you take a look on the back of the box here, you can actually see what I mean. As you can see, they're very tight and they're kind of tucked into their belt buckles underneath here. So as cool as these cloth material t-shirts are, they're not actually as authentic as what the Hardys would wear. But all in all, this is a really cool set. If you're a fan of of the Attitude Era, if you're a fan of the Hardy Boys, if you're a fan of the Brood, I highly recommend these figures. I think they're absolutely amazing, and I'm so happy to have this in my collection. But let's take a look at a couple more figures real quickly. I've never actually really been a huge fan of Jeff Hardy. I'll always love the Hardy Boys as a unit, but when they went their separate ways, I was more of a fan of Matt Hardy, and I would say that it's Matt Hardy and his broken universe in TNA that actually piqued my interest in wrestling again, and perhaps brought back my love of wrestling. So if it wasn't for Matt Hardy, maybe we wouldn't be making this video right now. So I wanted a figure of Matt Hardy, and especially the broken Matt Hardy, and at the time this was the best one I could find, and it's Elite Series 58 Matt Hardy. So the packaging is that nice sort of like standard packaging we've looked at in the past. On the side of the box, a nice picture of Matt Hardy. On the back of the box, Matt Hardy with his Reborn by Fate t-shirt, and this is not long after he returned to WWE at WrestleMania. The other figures you can get in this series are Braun Strowman, Sheamus, Cesaro, Mickie James, Matt Hardy, and Dean Ambrose. The figure itself is actually pretty basic, but I really love this figure. I like the torso. You know, there's not much muscle going on here. There's not much ripped sort of definition, and I really like it. It looks a bit different. I like this sort of solid green look with the gold. I'm a big fan of this figure, and it comes with this trash WWE Raw Tag Team Championship belt. But the figure itself is just beautiful. I really like the pants on this. Like I say, I like that torso, and the face scan is really good with that nice blonde streak in the hair. I'm a big fan of this figure. However, Mattel finally got round to releasing a way better Woken Matt Hardy, and it's from the WrestleMania series, and here it is, the defining Matt Hardy in my opinion. Like I say, it's part of the WrestleMania series, and it's the latest WrestleMania series, so it's got this newer packaging, and as you can see, they've actually changed their packaging once again. Where it used to be this sort of standard rectangle, they've gone back to having that weird sort of chopped off side like the older Elite series used to have. As it's WrestleMania, it's got the WrestleMania logo down here. It's not just Matt Hardy, as you can see, it's Woken Matt Hardy, and it's got this nice golden sort of color to it. And if you look down here, it actually contains parts for a builder figure. We'll come back to that in a second. On the side of the packaging, we got another cool picture of Matt Hardy, and on the other side of the packaging, unlike these older Elites where it just says their name, we got a different picture of Matt Hardy. And on the back of the box, we got some information about Matt Hardy and his career highlights. We got a little bit of information down here. And if you take a look at who else we got in the collection, we got Matt Hardy, of course. We got Mick Foley. We got Kofi Kingston, Booker T. And if you collect all of these in the series, you get to build the first ever referee in the Mattel series. And if you look closely down the bottom of the box here, this Matt Hardy Elite actually comes with the head of Dangerous Danny Davis. But the figure itself comes with a couple of accessories. First of all, you got a spare set of hands. You got two delete hands, one that Matt Hardy's actually got on in the box. And of course, you got two sort of slightly open fists for holding onto things. One's on the figure itself and then one's here. But the figure is actually wearing this really cool, I guess, jacket, sort of trench jacket thing. I don't know what you want to call that. Sleeveless trench coat. If you look really closely at the material itself, it's got all these little patterns on there, these little designs. It's got these nice gold straps and the buckles, and I believe on the back it actually has written House Hardy. I think this figure's one flaw, however, is the face scan. It does have those true effects, but there's just something wrong about this one. If you look closely at the top of the head, sort of on the hairline sort of area, his head is just too wide, too big. It just looks a bit strange. And the expression is a bit weird. You know, I know Matt Hardy's known for having these strange expressions, but this one's just a bit too weird. In fact, I actually prefer the older face scan that we have here, which doesn't have the true effects, I believe. So for me, this is the ultimate Matt Hardy figure, but I think this head scan would have been a bit better than what they have on there. I do like the hair, but, you know, like I said, the head is just a bit wide, especially at the top. It looks a bit strange to me. But there you have it, guys. A real quick look at the Hardy Boys and a bit more of an extensive look at Matt Hardy himself. So what do you guys think? Do you like these figures? Are you planning on buying any of them? Like I said, I highly suggest this one. And if you're going to get a Matt Hardy, I would say definitely go with this one, although I prefer the head scan on that one. But you let me know. Do you prefer this one? Do you prefer that one? Do you like the video? Give it a thumbs up. Do you dislike it? Give it a thumbs down. And don't forget to subscribe for more wrestling figs.